Welcome to the Colleague Experience podcast. In this episode, we delve into the illusions of open-door policies, the complexities that hamper honest communication, and the subtle realities behind organizational dynamics. We'll explore how these illusions can overshadow genuine feedback, reinforce hidden hierarchies, and sometimes outweigh even formal authority. Let's dive in. We want to share a story about Lee Kuan Yew, who is considered the founding father of modern Singapore. He guided his country from a developing state, which gained independence almost by accident, to a prosperous nation with significant economic power. He was deeply fascinated by Israel and dreamed of imitating it, except for that tricky part about democracy and freedom of speech. At some point, he realized that, at least for appearance's sake, there had to be some avenue for people to feel free to speak their minds. Gradually, he allowed the opposition to have limited spaces where they could criticize the government. A prime example is the Speaker's Corner, which was established in 2001 of Singapore's parks, ostensibly modeled after London's Hyde Park. Except it wasn't really a Hyde Park. Anyone who wanted to speak there had to register and receive police permission. The audience size was restricted. Nobody could use amplification equipment of any kind. Entire subjects were off-limits. Worst of all, a microphone loomed above the speaker to record every word, accompanied by a sign warning that anything said could be used as evidence for possible charges. It's hard not to imagine the unfortunate speaker, forever aware that every syllable could be held against them. We might be tempted to connect these details to recent political realities elsewhere, but that's not our intention here. We bring it up because we often encounter a gap between how managers believe they invite open internal criticism and what we hear when we speak with employees. This gap exists on both the organizational and personal levels. Senior management is convinced they know exactly what's going on. They're confident that their open-door policy genuinely encourages every voice to be heard. When we hold up a mirror and say there are things they may be missing, or conversations employees hesitate to have, we see several predictable reactions. Sometimes people resist and insist that it can't be true. They'll point to the few employees who give unfiltered feedback, including criticism of the company or direct supervisors, without fear. They'll argue that no one has ever been penalized for speaking out, so why would anyone hesitate? The data seem to support their perspective, so the notion of hushed conversations gets brushed aside. Other times, there's disappointment or even personal offense. It happens because these managers genuinely mean it when they say their doors are open. They sincerely believe it, so their surprise can come with a sense of hurt. Why would employees not speak openly when the leaders have done all they can to encourage it? So why does this keep happening? Why don't people genuinely feel comfortable speaking up? Not everyone stays silent. Some individuals will always say exactly what they think without filters or inhibitions. But ironically, the louder these folks get, the more they may mask other unheard voices. We've seen organizations where a self-appointed chronic complainer or resident critic dominates discussions, giving management the illusion of broad freedom of speech. In practice, it's a smokescreen that hides all the hesitant voices. People don't feel comfortable speaking up for many reasons, but we want to focus on one: courage. The simplest way to know how comfortable employees think talking to us is to ask ourselves how comfortable we feel talking to them. Within an organization, there's an entire marketplace where information is traded. To receive, we need to give. While some individuals might be savvier at this exchange than others, the basic rule still applies. If we want employees to be courageous and speak candidly, we must be willing to do the same. The more we, as leaders and managers, demonstrate our courage by exposing personal or organizational truths, even when it's risky, the more confidence we nurture in our employees to do the same. We haven't come across many organizations that practice total, unfiltered transparency. It's rare, and that's probably for the best. Still, Many leaders cling to the idea that one of our key responsibilities is protecting employees by buffering certain information. It's rarely straightforward who needs protecting or why, but one thing is sure: every buffer has two sides. When we shield our people by withholding information, we teach them to do the same for us. They pick up on the subtext that silence and secrecy are the safest options, so they adopt the norm. This dynamic can create paradoxical situations where leadership is the most sheltered group in the organization, kept in the dark about critical insights. In our consulting work with a software company, we witnessed a classic pattern. Senior managers believed they were doing employees a favor by filtering out a potential merger they deemed not quite finalized. They hoped to spare everyone the stress. Over time, rumors started circulating among developers and testers who felt they were being excluded from vital knowledge. Leaders were astonished to learn how much resentment had brewed beneath the surface when the truth emerged. They had chosen to protect employees, but the team decided it was safer not to share honest thoughts or concerns with managers who appeared to control the flow of information so tightly. We encountered a similar situation at a biotech firm, where top management kept certain regulatory challenges a secret, thinking it would only burden lab staff. Instead, people on the ground floor sensed something and grew suspicious. Any attempt to get clarity felt like stepping on thin ice. They learned that management relied on half-truths to maintain an image of competence, so they did the same. Eventually, serious compliance issues arose because open communication was replaced by guarded, partial disclosures. Ironically, both examples show how leaders inadvertently protect themselves from the insights they need. By framing silence as kindness or caution, they cultivate a mirrored response from employees who hold back on genuine feedback. That's where it all leads. The more we buffer information at the top, the more we get buffered from what matters below. That wraps up today's podcast, in which we explored the illusions of open-door policies, the complexities that hamper honest communication, and the subtle realities behind organizational dynamics, often overshadowing formal authority. Stay tuned for more updates.